Hello, viewers and listeners. You are welcome to another edition of the program Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio, transmitting on 91.9. I am Hajara Usman At-Tajri, your anchor for the show. Despite the efforts by the Nigerian government in addressing insecurity and the success recorded by Nigerian troops, insecurity remains a lingering issue surrounding the country. It was reported that at least 9 persons were killed on Saturday after 2 suspected improvised explosion device detonated along the Magami and Sado road in Maru local government area of Zamfara state. Again, in the early hours of Sunday, the Zamfara State Police Command says it has, in a combined operation with other security agencies, repelled attempted invasion of the same Maru metropolis by armed bandits who have planned a mass abduction. This incident comes days after the U.S. launched precision airstrike on terrorist hideouts in Sokoto State. In today's edition of the program, we are going to discuss about the rising insecurity in the country, especially in the northwest region, particularly the Zamfara states. What are the motives behind those incidents? How does the incident relate to the recent U.S. airstrike on terrorist hideouts in Sokoto State? And what measures can be taken to prevent such attacks in the future? Joining us in the studio is Nura, a security analyst from Bodinga local government area. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good evening to you all.
Yes, sir. Madam Nura, despite the success recorded by Nigerian troops, because in a couple of weeks ago, it was reported that Kachalla Kalamu, Bello Turji's ally, was killed by Nigerian troops and some local vigilantes. And despite that, the insecurity is rising up again. And we got a report on Saturday that there was an incident that happened, a twin bombing incident that happened in Maru local government. So can you please provide details on the incident, like the exact time of the incident, the location, and number of casualties?
Please, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I will rather provide to you what I have. They said one cannot give what you do not have. And that also makes it very necessary for me to apply for your permission to make a technical introduction of myself. My name is, full name is Nuruddin Bello Bodinga. I am a security and defense expert and analyst. Also an independent researcher in such areas. Also a gender specialist. I'm also the founder and consultant in chief of Nobel Spider Consult Limited. Why this is important in answering or attempting your question is because the viewers will understand the dimensions of my analysis. I am here to provide a technical or expertise analysis of the security happenings, including that which you made mention of Magami and Sadao routes. I am not here to provide journalistic reportings because I am not also a professional journalist, but that rather to provide an analysis or technical or expertise analysis of the trends in question or in focus. What happens in Dansado, or what is happening currently? Even before Dansado, there have been such bombings in Maiduguri, where I think 30-something people were killed or what have you, just very recently. We also have the airstrike and what have you. All these things has to do with the terror regime, which I have been mentioning for the past 7 years. I have been making analysis in both the internal and international platforms, including presenting in international conferences the logic or science of terrorism and the strategies to combat terrorism. And that also will help me to answer this very correctly. Bombing or bombing and bombardment, just a parcel of methodologies of terror or insurgency. These are the strategies they use in order to actualize their objectives. So to us, it is not something surprising. In fact, I think it is the intervention of Almighty Allah that we do not have the reincarnations of bombings for the past 8 years, I think, since Jonathan regime. But you remember, this country has witnessed or experienced these things. And that the problem or the mistake that the citizens, including perhaps the security apparatuses for the government is making, is not understanding or not perceiving correctly these bandits as terrorists. To me, there is no difference between banditry and terrorism, especially in the context of Nigerian situation. Now, since they are terrorists, which I have already perceived them to, and I think due to the pressures we mounted, because I was one of the strong voices during the Buhari regime, before their declaration as terrorists, I think we have made it very possible for government to see reason why terrorists should be classified as bandits should be classified as terrorists, and that also has been done. So even officially, if I'm not mistaken, they are also terrorists. So if terrorists act terrorically, you should not be surprised, because that is their names, and that is their what you call a trademark. So whenever you see serial assassinations, whenever you see kidnappings, whenever you see bombing and bombardment, so abduction, rapings of and killings of innocent citizens, what do you call it, bombardment of towns, especially soft targets, that is vulnerable, remote and vulnerable areas, because what we have is more or less rural banditry. So if they identify their battlefield, and they felt, because it is much more safer and easier, because crime usually or insecurity exists when there is vulnerability. So those areas are highly vulnerable, and that is not surprising to see such things. And if you like to say maybe the link, I don't know, maybe the next question is coming, whether what happens, why such thing is experienced immediately after the airstrike by the US, then maybe I will wait. I should not be in a hurry to answer questions that have not been questioned.
But considering that before, they are using guns to attack people and abduct, but just recently it has escalated into bombing incidents. So what do you think makes them to come up with these issues?
I have been trying, due to the time factor and my target audience, I'm trying to make my analysis less technical, so that it will not be much more difficult to understand. But these questions really triggered me to make a technical preamble, and which I prefer to call strategic lead-in. First of all, we need to understand what terror is. We need to understand the situation that we are. Even the counter-terrorism, what have you, is called war. This is the era of war. They are declaring war against Nigeria and Nigerian citizens, and Nigeria is also declaring war against them in form of counter-terrorism operations, including that of the interventions of United States of America. Now, having understand that this is a war, which is very, very, very important. Even the government over the years, why this thing has not been able to address squarely, is because of lack of accurate diagnosing of the security problem. If you do not understand what you are fighting, you cannot fight it squarely. So the issue is, these are terrors, and this is terrorism, and terrorism is not even a policy of itself. Rather, it is a methodology or strategy. The movements are the policy seats, that is insurgency. Now, They are not killing people for the sake of killing people. They are not bombarding for the sake of bombardment. They are doing it as a method to achieve objectives, usually political objectives. The sponsors knows what they are doing. And that's why this country, to me, we are still in a jock seat, except when we understand that we are playing with a hellfire, not an ordinary fire. Now, and that's also what make us even to have certain issues with diplomatic intervention. And somebody somewhere is saying that if you are not serious, you come and take care. But that is very unnecessary. Had it been the authorities has been listening to the expertise community, we have been providing a lot of us have been provided. I know that there could even be those that are closer to the corridor of power, but then we don't know what really happens. Is it political class? Is it the security class, technical security class? I don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you in essence is this issue is a war, and the war has been declared against Nigeria. Now, since it is a war, don't expect the person that declare a war to have a sleeping pin. He is going to explore all avenue to ensure that he actualizes his objectives. And one of those things that is characterized by war is that it is a thick conflict characterized by dominance, conquest, and wage of violence in order to subdue the enemy. So we are the enemy now as far as the terrorists are concerned. So they have to subdue. So they can explore especially the components or substances of violence like bombing and bombardment. So to me, there is nothing. In fact, if it is not that one should not be scaring the citizens, one should say that if we are serious people, we should be even anticipating much more issues, dimensional issues associated with violence, because we are dealing now, we are having people that are violent oriented people. What is terrorism? Terrorism is the infringement or the waging of violence in order to infringe fears, so that the government will act when they are wanting. For example, you see, they hardly attack, what do you call it, a coordinated security agencies. They don't take attacks on our major bases, which they know, except of very satellite ones. But they know that their own power is not equivalent, cannot even match the federal government might. They know. So what they do is that they now come to the peripheral, to the vulnerable. It's just like somebody who is perceived to be your enemy and he's fighting you, and he feel like by physics, by power, by what have you, as in Hausa Kimpekarpishi. And what he will do is to see that when you leave, he will now touch your children, just for him to send a message to you to make you angry. But he cannot confront you, but he will now go on it. So soft target, you understand? So they attack the civilians, they destroy life, they attack sensitive places like mosques and the churches. They even try to see whether they can even cause interreligious and inter-conflict violence among yourself, so that you can help to fight for against yourself, so that you can limit the level at which they are even fighting you. You understand? So that is it. So in essence, this is just a parcel of what is expected of terrorist activities.
So do you think that insecurity in Nigeria is related to politics?
You can't isolate politics from security or insecurity. Why? Because politics is a general activity, and it has to do with the protection, the provisions of institutions that protect life and property, and that policy and the planning, even within the military or security apparatuses, there are political arm that has to do with passioning out, formulating policies and the strategies. This is all an angle of politics. Even the defense policy that we have, this is a political. Even the procurement of military equipment and what have you, is not done by the security authority. It's done by the defense politicians, that is the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Defense. So, and you see the Commander-in-Chief of Nigerian Army, the Chief Security Officer of the Federation is a politician. Their own is to receive orders and to devise technical roadmaps, the strategies, in order to implement the policy, defense policy made by the politicians. So you can see the link. And there are several aspects of the link or nexus between politics and security. And especially the regime of terror. A terror is more or less a political, factor, because it's a tactics, it's a political tactics to achieve political goal. The aim of insurgency is political. So you see, but using the instruments of insecurity in order to actualize a political goal. So that is it.
So what's the current security situation in Magami and Sadoros in Zamfara State aftermath of the explosion and the attempt attack by armed bandits? So
I will also remind you that I had made mention that there are questions that are not mine. I cannot provide you with, first of all, I'm not an eyewitness. I'm not living in Magami. But that if you ask me to analyze or project or explain what could be the situation as an expert, I will do that. I will tell you that it is a very normal thing. If this is done by terrorists, if it is confirmed that it is a terrorist, which all fingers may be pointed at that anyway, I will tell you that they have achieved a goal, because the goal is to inflict fear, cause commotion, and instigate the citizens to hate and pressure their government. And that I think so far, if you are watching reactions, social media, you see they have already achieved that. And that for you to even contemplate whether somebody who's from his town to the other nearby town, bombs has been exploded, and you are expecting that that person will not be having jittery, that is a joke. In fact, there are so many people that maybe for the next how many years or months, they will not even, if they have an alternative route, they will never apply that. So you see, this is very understandable. It's very obvious that the citizens, not even only those in that axis, in the northwest entirely, it is a pointer to the fact that there is a resurrection of that parcel of instruments of demonstration or waging violence, which is bombing and bombardment, so which Nigerians, especially the non-Nigeria, has been used to it for some time, but they have a break, that is during Boko Haram. Now there is this kind of concern, definitely serious concern, that whether this is coming back. That a sign has just been portrayed, and that probably one can be expecting certain things. So we pray that the authorities concerned will see what they can do, or will do all it's required to stop or to prevent the further escalations of this.
So what do you think are the motive behind the recent attacks on the Maru local government area?
Depending on the attacker. If it is confirmed that it is a terrorist, the motive is clear, which I have mentioned. They want to wage violence against the innocent citizens, not even against the government apparatus, because I told you that they are targets, they are identifying soft targets, that is weak and vulnerable targets, and that the motive is to actualize their objectives, that is insurgency or terrorist objectives, to first of all demonstrate that they are still strong, and that the government cannot do anything about it. But that is peripheral. The much more is certain demands that hidden or secret demand that they may have, including probably if there is any existing talks with the government, which I'm not saying there is, but if there is, because this is what is happening, this is one of the logic of terror strikes. Sometimes if they are in a talk with the government and they feel like the government is not shaking body, that is impinging statement that is not serious or is not or is contemplating complying, then they will continue to do certain things that would pressure the government. You remember what happens in Kaduna, Abuja routes, that is railway routes, when there was that railway listed by ISWA. You remember their response when some journalists were asking them, what exactly do you want? What's the motive? They said, no, the government know what we want. They didn't elaborate it.
Yes.
So, and that is exactly to tell you is political. You understand?
Yes.
They are using insecurity or this instrument of insecurity, the threats, terror threats, in order to actualize certain demands.
So how does this incident relate to the U.S. precision airstrike on these terrorist hideouts in Sokoto State?
Please, I beg your pardon. You say, how does this
relate?
What?
These incidents that happened in Maru local government area, the two incidents, the twin explosion and the attempted attacks, it was reported that by armed bandits, so they did not spy the terrorist group. So how does it relate to the U.S. precision attack on the terrorist hideout in Sokoto State?
Yes, that was the answer that I reserved until the question is forwarded rather. And so yes, you see, usually people use their own normal market intel, that is intelligence, to view or to analyze issues, but that beneath that market intelligence, there are technical analysis, which I'm here to provide. It is if it is confirmed that because let me tell you, when we are in the terror region, anything can happen. Sometimes there are certain things that could be done by certain foreign adversaries, and that the terrorists will claim that they are the one, just because it favored them. But so that's why I said an investigations need to be carried out, technical investigation, expertise investigation, and that if it is confirmed that it is the really that it doesn't matter which group for me, but it may matters for planning and other operational activities by the security agency. But for us, it might not necessarily matter which group, as long as it is the terror group, whether you call them bandit, right? Okay, me, I call them terror groups. So as long as it is done by the terrorists, that is just to confirm, one, that these people are trying to demonstrate that they are resisting deterrence, and that they have all it takes. They mean what they are doing. They mean what they are saying, and that they are capable of doing anything, and that they are also using their own method in order to show resistance. You know, in war, there are aggression and resistance. It is very common thing. That's why I said it is very important that we understand this is a war, and that in war we have subduing and resistance. The other party want to subdue, the other one is resisting, and that's even what makes it to look beautifully caught or uncut as a war, which we have perceived it as experts. So to me, it is just a sign to our gallant security operatives who are up and doing. I know there are aspects of that institution that need to sit up. That has to do with policy, funding, and the politics of defense itself. But that morally, technically, you see, even them, they are losing their lives just to tell you that they are really working hard to see that they prevent or they detect or they protect lives and property. But then that is not enough. Honestly, we need much more rigorous, aggressive operation. What happens in Jabo or what happens pertaining airstrike is just an aspect. It's still a parcel of the major components of the operations against terrorism. So people don't even understand. Even if America succeeded in eliminating all the bandits or terrorists in this country, that does not mean that the terror has gone. That is what Hausa people call kasari machiji bakas wutsiyar maciji baka sare kansa ba. Where are the sponsors? And there are even politics concerning war against terrorism. 20-something years ago, I presented a paper when I was undergraduate during 2011 America strike. That is 2011, what do you call it? Strike against America. You remember 2011? I don't know where you were then.
I was in secondary school.
Okay, but you should be able to know that the so-called Al-Qaeda, before this ISIS, they call it Al-Qaeda. They still give nomenclature, That's why I'm not much more concerned about the name that you give the terror, provided I know it's a terror, because that is even the gimmicks, that's the strategy they use in order to divert attentions of those that are supposed to target and strike them, because there is what we call target and targeting. So if you are telling me Boko Haram, even Boko Haram, they are not the one that gave themselves this name. And and they continue to accept it when you call them that, because it even gave them a bonus. Because when you say Boko Haram in an area that is typically their own inhabitants, that is the citizens of northern Nigeria, conservative northern Nigerians believe that Boko is not positive, it's negative. So when you say there are some groups that you should be careful with them, they are Boko Haram. Already it has been called Kafirchi for years in the Hausa land. So what are you saying? You are not. So that's why they accepted that, even though part of what they were preaching is that people should be disengaging themselves from the Western education and what have you. But then that is not. Then you come and call other people ISWAP, and that's why they are changing. Though ISWAP is a standard name, like registered name they give themselves. Yes, but Boko Haram also has its own registered name, actual name, is it Arabic name or what have you. Now, and they claim that they do the Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is all gimmicks. This is all just to divert attention. But the actual sponsors, those that sponsor, does not even know what is Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They don't even worship God. They are not about religion. But using the religion cover as a cover. When they go to Southeast, they penetrated these people. The sponsor of terror will tell you, no, we understand their own value. You want separate from Nigeria. So now they get some people and they tell them that no, you have to agitate for Biafra. You have to secession plan. So this is just the enemies of this country over decades that have been planning this gradually, and unfortunately because of the lack of right leadership and using the right resources, because we have the resources, but the politics within does not allow our leader to put the right people at the right place. And this is just the consequences of that which we are reaping today.
Okay. So based on your knowledge as a security analyst, right? So how do you...
Security expert. Everybody can analyze security. Even those that do not understand it.
So based on your knowledge as a security expert, so how do you think bandits normally operate in Zamfara State?
You see, I have made mention some of them. I talk about the methodologies. Itself, but terrorism is a methodology, but they also have certain strategies. Kidnapping is a parcel of it. Bombing and bombardment is a parcel of it. Even propaganda war. Because in war, that's why I say it's just a war. Nigeria should be able to understand that the war is being declared. It doesn't matter whether it is conventional or asymmetric warfare. Yes, it is asymmetric warfare, but war is war. Now, I have classified war into three. I have answered your question technically because I made mention how they operate. But I want to also give it much more expertise look. I made mention of the triple devils in classifying war. I said that we have war of weapons, which is the typical weapons that we know, not weaponized instrument, because even the money can be weaponized, even the words like propaganda, everything can be weaponized. But when we say weapons, I think the typical conservative perception of weapon, that is the instrument of war. Now, the second devil is war of words, like Cold War, that is propaganda. You see the liturgy on stage explaining certain terms, showing there is imagery propaganda. all those things that Sheikha was showing at his back, the machineries, the weapons, just to scare you, to show you that they are ready. This is propaganda. Even these small bandits in the rural hideouts, they used to do some satans. It's all called propaganda, war of weights. And that the very time the Nigerian government understands the significance of this propaganda, the better for them. They just have to do what we call, the expert has all it takes to do this. I personally specialize in propaganda design and defense. How do I provide for you to go and use the media? But the media can just give you what do you call this? If some companies wanted you to do some advertise for them, you call it, there is a particular name. But what I have is much more that we design it, because this is a security issue. How do we counter certain things? Because people are thinking, you need support of the people in the war. So, but people have been demoralized, you understand, by these guys, and to the extent of even becoming hopeless against the Nigerian contingents, and that is not good in a war. You need, for you to successfully or effectively win a war, you need elitist support, you need popular support, and that is the area I criticize military, U.S. Military strike. Though I don't know what they are doing, whether they have much more liaising with Nigerian security architecture. And if they have that, I'm expecting them to do such things before the strike. That is mobilizations, rural, popular mobilization. Let people understand that this is for you. We are doing this. We are inviting the U.S. is coming. A perception management. Yes. But when people beginning to see some things and that already their mind has been abused by the enemy. That no, they want to destroy all of you. It's not about this. And how do you expect to win this war? So that is it.
Okay, viewers and listeners, it's still your show, Midday Vibes, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio, transmitting on 91.9 MHz. We will take a short break and we will be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you just joined us, this is Midday Vibe, coming your way from Caliphate TV on Star Times Channel 141 and Caliphate Radio, transmitting on 91.9. And right here at the studio is Malam Nuruddin Bello Bodinga, a security expert and founder, Nubel Expedia Consult Limited. You want to be part of this conversation, the number to call is 090-6000-2022. So, Madam Nura Bodinga, what impact do you think the USA strike has on security situation in Zamfara state and the surrounding region?
There are conditions of assessing the use of force, whether it may yield result or not. So far, there are a lot of mixed reactions, but all those mixed reactions are not knowledge-based, and that as far as we are concerned, we do not, I personally do not see how the use of force in this very situation, like asymmetric warfare, that is the counter-terrorism operations. I told you that bombing or airstrikes are just a parcel of counter-terrorism operations, which takes care or fell under what we call text or clear operation. Counter-terrorism operations deals with three major stages. The first one is to take or clear the space, that is the battlefields. Yes. The second one is to hold. That's the battle stage. The third one is to rebuild. Now, we are just at the first stage. Even that first stage, the airstrike is just a component. You know, we have what we call coordinated strikes, coordinated operation. It should be a way of using the airstrikes, including the land troops, though I know that there are situations whereby the airstrikes usually can independently be taken. But that what happens in past 3 days or so has a lot of questions. Is raised a lot of questions rather as to whether there is what we call terrain mastering. This is one of the conditions. If you cannot be able to master the terrain, you cannot win the terror. The counter-terrorism operation will definitely fail and it will not yield results. And by my own personal observations, not even America that is an outsider, despite its own technology, though I know they have probably been spying and they have viable resources like CIA and what have you to get the defense intelligence of all the activities of terrorists right from the inception of terrorism in Nigeria up to today. I know that America has that capability. Only that the politics of defense intervention is there. America, like any other country, prioritizes its own interest over any other interest. If Nigeria is the baby to America gave birth to Nigeria like Britain did. America will not just for the sake of what do you call it, assistance or help or love, will do certain things that will benefit you first, but rather will benefit America first, even to the detriment of Nigeria as its her own baby. And that is just a designed understanding policy of America, irrespective of whoever is or which party is leading America. Now, and that is not a surprising thing to me. I'm a strategist guy. I'm a student of defense and strategy. I understand the international system and I understand the logic of international actors. As far as international politics is concerned, America is not wrong in prioritizing its own interest first, because international system is a jungle. Everybody have to struggle for himself. Nobody should struggle for you. Foreign policy of Nigeria, which is the subject of my thesis, foreign policy and the national security. This is what I'm researching right now for the past 3 years, my PhD, and that so far I've been able to detect, and which is also very relevant to what happens to Nigeria as pertaining Americans, Nigerians' recent diplomatic face-off, to the extent of America threatening to strike Nigeria, which it did, whether it did independently or in liaison with Nigerians' security apparatus, but also Nigeria's government. But then there are gaps in Nigerians' foreign policy which are yet to be filled. And that gap emanates from lack of understanding of this policy of international system as a jungle. This status that we 2 of 10, our leaders, subsequent leaders, 2 of 10, relying on these people that we come to you to help us to grow. How could somebody help you, the potential enemy, somebody who he see as a potential competitor rather, will not help you, because you have all it takes. If you lift your hand, you have the potentialities more than him. He is only at the peak, being the most developed against you. But you are not developed. Nigeria is not developed, but as per rating potentiality, it is the most potential country to be the superpower country in this world. And that is even what is being suspected to be the reason why the first leadership was assassinated, not a coup, under the use of the cover of the coup. Because I remember I read somewhere, London Times, in the around few years before 1966 bloody coup. That is the 15th January. Though in 1966 we had 2 multiple bloody coups, the counter coups against Iran. But I'm talking about that which eliminated the political figures, that is Tafawa Balewa and Sardauna. And you see the way and manner in which the actual potential threats of the Britain and the Western countries were eliminated, and they left the other one, Awolowo and what have you, not because of tribalism or something. People were thinking like because the guys that did the coup, though I think Awolowo was in prison then, but that Akintola and what have you were not affected as it is not necessarily because the leaders of the coup were Igbos. Probably because the founder or the sponsors of the coup are the designers of the coup. They decided who should eliminate or not. So as far as we were concerned, that London Times came up with a report that in the next 50 years, Nigeria is a watch-out country, and it has the potentialities of becoming superpower in the next 50 years. I think we are more than 50 years of independence today, right?
Yes.
And from that 60 to today, I think we are 60 something.
Yes.
That means if all things were equal, those people had not been eliminated, probably we have been celebrating 10. I think we are 63, right? Independence. Or if we are 63, that means we'll be celebrating 13 years of being the superpower country right now. And let me tell you the logic of colonialism and new colonialism. I see this terror or terrorism as an instrument of new colonialism. Don't forget that just very recently, when Donald Trump took over, an American congressman, just like the same congressman that came and said that Christians genocide or whatever, somebody also was busy exposing, you said, of sponsoring Boko Harams and other terrorist groups in Nigeria. But that because this country, we don't even have leaders that are much more smarter, because it has to do with smartness in international politics. These guys were so smart to bury that report so that to divert attention, so that America cannot even ask Trump, please, can you set up an independent committee of inquiry to substantiate so that we can know who had been sponsoring. That means your country has been sponsoring this so that we can even take it to United Nations. But that is, we are now pushed to the defensive side, even though we have a case against America. And yes, because that you said is still American. It doesn't matter whether it's Trump that was the president then or not. So, but now they now use some of us that what do you call it, unpatriotic ones. They now said, we have a report, somebody, a clergyman from this place who has it. So they now capitalize on that. And now people are nobody is talking about, you said America as the indirect sponsor of this kind of things. They're not talking about Nigerian government labeled as, what do you call it, a religious bias, and everybody knows, even in America, I know, it must have all the information about the casualties, about the number of people that have been killed right from the inceptions of terrorism in this country up to date, including gender variations, including religious variations, number of the Christians, number of Muslims. I know I am thinking that they must have this number, accurate number or record or data more than the Nigerian states. But they cannot help you. You have to help yourself. And I'm not blaming America in this aspect. I'm blaming myself or ourselves. We just have to be a serious country. If we look at South Africa is in the serious mega head with the Trump, but he can't dare do such things because they are ready. They are serious. We need serious guys, and we need both serious leaders and serious followers. Because in this country, the funny thing about it is that even those that were expected to take over from the existing leadership, if their tenure expires, sometimes you'll be wondering who are next. Are they really patriotic? Even the followers, are we patriotic? So that is it.
So, Madam Bodinga, how does this incident, that is the twin bombing incidents and the first attacks in Maru local government, how does it fit into the broader pattern of insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the Northwest region?
That is just to tell you, as I made mention also, that this is just a very bad news. It is a bad development because it is taking us back. Because initially we have these bombing and bombardments all over Northeast and Northwest, even in Kano mosques and some parts. I think certain incidents in Sokoto 2 times and some places in Kaduna and what have you. But at least since the inceptions of Muhammad Buhari, when a serious war was waged against them, the such things were stopped. But unfortunately, for us to have the resurrections of such things, it is definitely an unfortunate situation, and that it is just a signaling, rather, or it's a signal rather, that we have a very strong task ahead.
So, what measures do you think can be used to prevent soda attacks?
I always advocate mixed measure, because I'm an advocate of multi-factor approach to security issues. Since I am advocate of multi-factor approach, that is, security or insecurity is caused by multiple factors, not one factor. So therefore, the solution to it must come from both the mixture of both kinetic and non-kinetic approach. That is, we have to look at the economy. Provide economic security. In this country, we are lacking in economic security, and the physical security is product of economic security. If the economic security is shaken, the physical security is vulnerable. Including educational system, we have to look at the upbringing, the moral upbringing also. Because all those things has to do with the supporting power of the terrorists. Your terrorists are not only using weapons, even if they have access to weapons, where are their labor? Where are the staffs? Where are the people that they give these weapons to work for them? If they are the population, they do not have vulnerable population to recruit to take these arms. The arms will not work on themselves. You have also other areas that has to do with the coercive. I divided that into coercive, what do you call it, collaborative measure. But you cannot continue to do certain non-kinetic if kinetics measure is not there. That is the use of force. Definitely, you have to.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, please, who is calling? It's having network issues. You can go ahead.
So in brief or in summary, coercive measure, that is the sustained operations, we have to redefine and re-strategize in what do you call it, these take and clear operations. We just have to be in charge. Our military must show might. These guys must be shown that there are force, there is existing coercion that is the super or superior to their own. And that
Excuse me. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. So just go on. Okay. Network issue.
So in essence, the first thing to borrow from one of the Americans' president's word, if you see terror, you terrorize it. So we have to start by ensuring that we terrorize too. And when we terrorize, at the same time, we also take care of the non-kinetics. At the same time, we also make sure that we take care of our borders, provide absolute security for our borders, so that the supply of weapons to these people who will be hampered. We should also prostrate their recruitment channels. We also should do everything possible to prostrate their financing, that is terror financing. We should also do everything we can to take care of the informant, phenomena in the Northwest. It is counterproductive to war against this bandit or terrorists, as I prefer to call them. And that more importantly, is that we should ensure justice and equity. We should encourage social structures we have to have social cohesion. And that is one of the areas I also criticize this strike. Before the strike, you now divided the country. You caused confusion, saying that Christians are much more affected, and you are only here to save the Christians. You have already caused commotions, division, and that you can never win a war when there is division within the country. So that's why I doubt whether America is serious about helping this country. But that I also welcome a sincere intervention, because definitely we have reached a level at which we really need foreign support. We may not necessarily like it, but that the situation warrants that we just need to have an intervention, since we have issues within the internal leadership or internal structure to do it. So, but then we are expecting that to be done in a good faith. If America has a positive purposefulness, that is, the purpose is positive. It's not about, though we know it has to do something to help ourselves, but that we can still do a partnership. Whatever you want to get, at least we should also not do it to the detriment of the country. That it should not be, you can still get what you want in a country without really destroying its major foundation. And because our major foundation for survival is unity, and as long as that unity is not there, the country is gone.
So in summary, Madam Bodinga, so how do you think the government and security agencies can work to tackle the growing insecurity in Nigeria?
First of all, we must have a unity for us to liaison. We are talking about liaison and synergy. If we do not have unity of purpose, we cannot work together. So first of all, we have to educate ourselves or sensitize our military. The political class should come up with a policy or program that will bring these people together. And that, first of all, that synergy has to do between the technical security apparatus and the government, and that between the government and the security with the public, including non-governmental organizations and what have you. So one of it is that we should be able to harmonize our intent, that is harmony, unity of purpose. If we have unity of purpose, we'll definitely, competition among rivalry among us will not be there. Even security agencies, there are cases of rivalry, excessive competition. But as long as in Bahaushe's word, right? If you really understand that, then there is no point in unnecessary competition. And so if we have that, we get it. Then we talk about patriotism. We cannot have unity of purpose if we are not patriotic. So if we have orientation, yes, we will have it. We'll have patriotism. And the last one, because it's triple P I invented, that is purposefulness, which I made mention, the first one. Yes. Patriotism. And the last one is professionalism. We must exhibit, because it is part of the aspect of a professional to have cooperation, to have teamwork. If you don't have that value of teamwork, you are not professional. So this is what is lacking, and the best way to go about it is to provide this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Nura Bodinga, for honoring an invitation and for sharing your thoughts with us. With this, we come to the end of today's edition of the program, Midday Vibe. On behalf of our production crew and on behalf of our guests, Madam Nuruddin Bello Bodinga, security expert and founder, Nobel Expedia Consults Limited. I am Hajara Usman Attajiri saying until next